I just feel like there might be a conflict with the Peanut Festival because of the fact that they start bringing all their, that might kind of set them back as far as, because they go ahead and line up everything. Would we ask them to just not set up there, or what?
Well, that would be, I think that would be an option.
Councilwoman, if you got the vote, they need to ask you. You don't need to ask them.
Okay.
And so.
Well, I just don't want to make trouble, because, I mean, as far as the Peanut Festival, it's one of our big events.
It's one of our biggest events. It is. And the councilwoman, to your right, can tell you when we give them hot tax, they're also the largest receiver of that. And so, so they benefit from us as well. And so what we have to do is that we have to be fiscally responsible. We have to make those kind of decisions. And we have to tell them that they can operate, they can put their things in, do not bring their Congo rides in 3 weeks ahead of time. And they have to figure it out, but it can't continue to cost us and close us off. So, but I have to be there to say that we need to have this conversation, so the first time they hear about it is not necessarily when they're here with the lovely court and the family bringing you peanuts to say, hey, you can't let you do that. So I know a few directors, and I know you know some directors, that we can start that conversation early on and start talking about planning and maybe having a sit down with some staff, even some other things, because that's changed, so that we can talk about those things.
And another thing, if the city employees want that day off, I mean, they have a long way to schedule that day,
And we're supportive, and actually, don't mean to put my city secretary on the spot, but her son is actually in the Peanut Festival this year. He's part of the court, and so yes, they can use up their own personal time to be available, to take off, to do that. But the purpose of everybody taking off on that time is not necessarily that there are events that are happening, it's just that we're locked out. You can't get in here. And so what we have to do is figure out a way that we can get in here to allow us to operate even on the minimal scale, so that people can come and do that. And then the festivities happen Friday and Saturday.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I think that if the council does agree to not have the tent closed, not have the city closed for that day, I think I'd like to see what the differences are with our budgeting. So for the last couple of years, this is what we've looked at, and you talked about 15,000.
Yes, because it just comes out to be what a average day at payroll is, and we can have those numbers for you.
Yeah, I think it would be a good comparison. And also, if employees were requesting to have that time off, however they take it with their own personal leave, that, that be taken into consideration as well. I wouldn't want our employees to think that they would have to be here, and if they had priorities related to the festival, that they wouldn't be able to take time off.
I mean, you can take your time as long as it's that we have coverage here, and usually during that time, but it's not like holiday. Right now today is kind of difficult. We're making sure everybody gets off who has small kids so they can prepare for Santa, but this is a little bit different, but yes, we can make sure that we're there.
Any other discussion?
And make sure that it would be double time this term?
Yes, ma'am, it is a holiday, so it is double time. It is not time and a half. It is double time.
Any citizens' comments pertaining to this? Any other comments by the council? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to remove Thursday, October 10th, 2019, the day of the Peanut Festival for the city employees.
Okay. Approve the 2019 holidays with the exception of
Correct.
October the 10th. I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Ortiz. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Jimenez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor, I appreciate it. Mayor, on the same note, I just need to say that, would you like to have or see some type of programming that we can put together for National Day of Prayer?
Yes.
Okay, so we can do that. Thank you so much.
And also that National Day of Mourning.
yes, the flag has to be flown and passed out, and we can look at doing some memorial bunting in honor of our president that passed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that National Day of Prayer, Henrietta, it would be like in the evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Around the memorial here is what we've done traditionally.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3B, consideration action to approve the chief of police to hire or fill for a vacant patrol position. We have chief.
Good evening, council. The reason I'm here today is to ask to fill in the vacant position as a police officer that's been vacant since May of 2018. And it's not, we're not creating a new spot or anything, it's just a position that wasn't filled in since then. I'd like to get y'all's approval.
Is it standard, Ms. Rodriguez, is it standard to come for approval?
In the last budget, which you all approved, in the budget that anytime there is a vacancy in a position, that we have to ask city council's permission to fill any vacancies. I will be back to you in January to ask to fill some vacancies that we have, a position that was created. And so what the chief is doing is, along with you all have approved as of October 1, it is a vacancy. I verified it with our HR as well as our comptroller, that due to attrition, he had a promotion recently. Officer Billy Harrelli was promoted to sergeant after Darrell Fargo left ours. We've hired someone else, but as attrition moves up, he now has a vacancy, and all he's asking is permission to do so, because we're in the zero-based budgeting, and so you'll see this a lot more. It is new, but you'll see a lot more based on the budget that you passed.
Okay. Any questions by council? Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Martinez to approve approve the chief of police hiring or vacant patrol position. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ortiz. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, council.
Okay, moving on to item 3D, consideration action to approve Muni Code Ordinance 2018-017. We have our city attorney to present.
Honorable Mayor and Council, the approval of mini code ordinance that is being presented for tonight will allow the city of Floresville to go forward with publishing what is going to be known as the Code of Floresville. The Code of Floresville will encompass all our city ordinances as well as our land usage. This will mean that we will be up and running on our website, and all the citizens, as well as everybody else within the state of Texas and other states, will be able to find all that information under that specific code. We anticipate that there's going to be I think it's 156 chapters. We've gotten approval from planning and zoning. We've gone and done everything that needed to be done, and we just need approval from the council so that we can go forward. I'm really excited about it. It's going to move us. We're going to be state of the art, so that's pretty awesome. I move to approve.
I have a motion on the floor, but do I have any citizens' comments pertaining to this, or any questions by the council?
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Where are those funds coming from?
Funds to do this?
Yes.
The general fund. You've funded codification for the last 2.5 years. We've been working on this process. Mini-code, council, you were on the board at that time. Mini-code would come and talk about all those things when your former attorney recommended it. And so what it's going to allow us to do is all of our codes, which is in a big fat dusty book right now, you can go online and you can search it. And so you can search basketball, you can search streets, you can do a definition of what is residential, and you put in residential, and it'll take you to every place that says residential in that code. But also, as you update things, if you update your zoning map, you do the ordinance, you send it to them, and they upload it. It will be less than 24 hours, anything you pass should be online. We are all ready to go. We've approved things periodically over the last 2.5 years. This is the last thing, so we can turn on the switch. There's a button, if you go right now, there's a button online to look up the codes online, but it's not active, because I need you to vote to say, yes, we can activate it. Sylvia has taken us to the last step. We've gone through a couple of attorneys but she's actually getting me across that finish line to clean up everything so that we can actually turn on. And the codification is done. Now, there's a minimum charge that we have to do every year for them to host it. It's a small fee, I believe,
It's 300 for, depending on how many ordinances we pass.
$300. So after you get through all this stuff we pay, it's just $300 for them to update it. It's just like when you have to go and they have to upgrade and all those kind of things. So now it's just a maintenance fee. We've already paid over $6,000 to get to this point.
And they've also sent us books that were drafts. So
Yeah, I have, and actually, I believe, Monica, you put them in your areas of, you put in your green books there. That's actually in a paper, but you have to read the code and it comes in how many volumes?
I can't remember.
There's one big volume of 17 different sections, and you have to go through all of those. It's in that book like this, and not even a notebook. It can't even fit in a 3-ring binder. It's one of the legal ones. And so it's not the way to do. You can search, and all the wonderful thing is almost like your ordinances on Google. You can search whatever.
It's pretty, if I may just real quick, Mr. Mayor, I've utilized it in my practice in searching other cities, and it's pretty amazing because you just put in what you're looking for, and it's gonna be right there. And that will show that that is the ordinance, or that is the zone on your land usage that is in effect. And we're gonna keep them, my understanding is we're gonna send out any new ordinances as soon as we get those, so that they can be published as soon as possible as well.
I like Unicode, because they've come and presented to us before, and Texas has, they're not just in Texas, though, it's all over the United States, but they have a set of attorneys as well. And so they make sure, what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years, they had to go through, that it doesn't say in one chapter to do this, and the next chapter to do that. So we send them something that's contradictory, they'll come back and say, you have to look at chapter 9, section 16, because it's you can't do that. So you have attorneys on that side looking at it as well. And so it's really gonna be easy, everybody can search it, we're gonna be online. I'm not by Spectrum, we went through Frontier, but you can go online and be able to do it. So you can even check it from your phone, it's mobile friendly.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any other comments or questions? Any citizens' comments pertaining to this? Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion.
I have a motion.
I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Cantu to approve Unicode Ordinance 2018-017. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Seconded by Mrs. Martinez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Moving on to item 3G.
Madam Mayor, I was gonna suggest if we could move on to P and Q before we do this one, because there's gonna be some changes
Which one?
on, if we can move on to P and Q.
Okay.
That's 2 items.
Okay.
If I may, Madam Mayor, my understanding, in order to be able to move around, there can be a motion and then a second and then a vote in order for that to take place.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion on the floor to move item P and Q. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Moving on to item 3P, consideration action to approve bylaws, guidelines on hot tax. Councilwoman Cantu.
Mayor, council.
I'm gonna let, and then I'll say something.
Okay.
No, I'll answer, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Madam Mayor, council, I'm Fred Gonzalez. I'm acting as the vice chairman for the Visitors and Tourists Board this time, and asking to make a change that has been in need to make for a long time, and that is to change the mix or the membership on our board. The current thing right now, the current situation, the board is made up of 7 members, and this is under section 2.2. The composition is as follows: 2 appointed by the city, 1 appointed by the FEC, 1 appointed by the county, 1 appointed by the school district, 1 appointed by the hospital district, and 1 appointed by the chamber. The problem, the school and hospital positions by their choice will never be filled. They never wanted to participate. The county position has been vacant since January 2018, and frankly, the county should not be involved in determining how Floresville spends Floresville hot funds. So the bottom line, the current situation presents a real problem at times in meeting our quorum. We have 7 positions, but most of the time 3 are filled. And the least number we can have for a quorum is 3. So that's caused some problems. Proposed solution, and this has been voted on in July by our board, eliminate the school and hospital positions and convert the county position to a 4A position to be filled by the 4A. Mr. Gleason has agreed to that, and the 4A certainly has, as you know, a vested interest in how hot funds are spent. They use a big chunk of these. So bottom line, make the board a 5-member board with all members directly related to how Floresville hot funds are used. This section would require a change to the 2 reference bylaws sections, and I've given Henry all the necessary information on that, the from to what, and so on to do. And I'm just proposing that we do it officially now. This section will require a change again to the referenced bylaws sections. So all I'm asking is that we do what I think should have been done some time back.
And Honorable Mayor, if I may, and Council, Mr. Gonzalez, you're actually asking for a change to be on section 2.2?
Right.
To change it, or am I hearing correctly, you want to change it from 7 to 5?
7 to 5, the number 7 to 5, and then on section 2.3, we identify who the components or what the components are going to be.
Okay, and which one were you asking be eliminated? Would that be the representative, Wilson County, Texas?
1 for 1.
Okay, and then the other?
Hospital district and the school district.
And then the hospital.
And then bring in the 4A in place of those 3, so that we come out with 5.
Okay, and I think you indicated just a little moment ago that this was already approved and voted on by the Board of Directors in July, is that correct?
By our board, yes.
Okay. Okay, so they did have a copy of, or they voted on the new proposal, is that
Yes,
correct?
they did.
Okay, and so now it needs approval by the council?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's in keeping with section 4.1, Mayor, that indicates what needs to be done if there's going to be an amendment to the bylaws. It does indicate that it has to be approved first by the Board of Directors, and then it must be approved by the City of Floresville.
And you'll be drafting that?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we're gonna have 2 representatives from the city that the council's gonna pick,
Right.
and then 4A is gonna elect.
4A will elect 1, 4B 1, and the chamber 1.
Okay.
FEDC is on there as well.
It is.
Yes,
It says
4B.
one representative appointed.
4A and then 4B,
Yeah, FEDC is 4B.
yeah,
The chamber.
and then the chamber.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the Wilson County Hospital District the same as Wilson, what is it, County Memorial Medical
Yes.
Center? It's the same?
Yes.
I'm just, I'm gonna clarify that.
And the school had already said they just didn't want to
Well,
participate.
They have told us from the very beginning, in fact, they've
A long
never
time
had,
ago.
the school had representatives, I believe, the first 2 meetings, and the hospital never had one. Even though we contacted them, while we went over there and briefed them, and they just decided they didn't have any need to be on the board. Yes.
Okay, so you get an individual from each board. They have to meet with you at your board meetings?
No. As indicated in here, the 4B, FEC, the 4A, and the chamber will select their members representing them. Now,
Okay.
This is for the tourists and visitors.
No, I understand that.
Yes,
I just wanted to see how everyone's gonna meet. That's it.
but as before, the council will actually select 2 of those members on the board, of the 5.
And then the other boards will select one of
Yes.
each.
And I was going to remind them, we need to let them know that they have to name a member to that board as soon as they can.
So am I correct, if I may just, Madam Mayor and Council, so we're going to have a total of 5 of the council approves it, with 2 representatives with the City of Floresville, 1 from the 4A, 1 from the 4B, and then the 5th one being the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that states the proposal or the request from that place.
I'm gonna make a motion to move to approve this.
I have a motion on the floor. Did I have another question by Councilmember?
On this one I do.
Okay.
I've been, I attend most of the meetings and, keep really involved with the city, and I really think that we really need to check criteria when we issue this money from the hotel motel tax. A lot of it is, especially to make the criteria, is really hopefully that they're bringing heads and beds. Because I sure would not ever want to do this.
Councilwoman Martinez, if I may,
Yeah.
we've been doing that, and we have, in the last year or so, we've tightened it very well. In fact, we've gotten from the council advice on cutting down as much as we can, and we have. And we do it by very strict criteria. Our
I'm just, this
councilwoman,
is
I
the
think,
comment.
understood that, yes.
Okay, I just made this comment because I feel like we need to keep,
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you also stated that they will need to give a report after the event.
Yes, and I was going to say that we've already voted on that. That didn't require council approval, but we were advised to look at that, and we had advised you before, and I'm telling you right now that we have done that. We have prepared a form that actually covers both the application and the post-event information in one, and they will apply after the event so that we can have real numbers.
Is that kind of a log that you're going to keep on that?
I'm not in charge of that, but anyway, I think so,
Okay. I just want to make it you.
yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Any citizens' comments? So I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Cantu. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Jimenez. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Moving on to item Q, I believe is what you asked for, Mrs. Cantu. Consideration action to approve the change for the FEDC start date.
Okay, let me get on that one here, if I may. And here we're talking what appears to be really, and it is a minor change, and this is to the FEDC bylaws, and we're looking at section 3.04, which is dealing with the annual meeting. Sometime back, we made a change in the bylaws for FEDC, and inadvertently, we changed the annual meeting date from December, as we had done some couple of years ago, back to October, the original date. And that presents a problem because October is before the elections, as you know. And so a lot of times, in fact, almost always, the council will name new members and so on. So it's best for us to name our officers, which we do at the annual meeting after. And so by changing the date back again to December, I think we'll take care of that problem. And the wording is like this: the annual meeting of the Board of Directors shall be held during the month of December of each year, or the first regular meeting held thereafter, because sometimes we don't get to it, in December. But nevertheless, it'll happen after the elections and after you folks have named new members, if you do.
So that just.
So all the changes that really basically is you're going to put December in there instead of October under section 3.04.
I'll make the motion.
And if I may just real quick, we're also going to be correcting where it says hall, it should say shall instead of hall. Under 3.04, the annual meeting of the Board of Directors, it's supposed to say shall.
Oh, yes.
Instead of hall. And this is allowable pursuant to section 801. The bylaws can be amended either by the city or by the Board of Directors with the consent of the
Yes,
city.
accept.
Any questions by the council members or the citizens? Okay, if not, I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Jimenez. Do I have a second for those changes?
I'll go ahead and second it.
Seconded by Mrs. Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez. Okay. Going back to item 3G. And before I do this, I just want to make a statement that I've been out in the community quite a bit lately, and people have been telling me who's going to be on the boards. Before I even knew we were even having it on the agenda. So please, board, council members, please take into consideration all those that have applied. Please take their qualifications. And I love to see the fact that a lot of new people are applying. So, and what I will do on each item is I will go down the council, and if a councilman so chooses to make a nomination, I'll let them do that, and I'll take it instead. Mrs. Turner, did you have something that you wanted to?
No, other than just be mindful that when it comes to the board that Mr. Gonzalez just spoke of, which is the hot tax, this where you have 2 members to place on that board.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, a slate, I'm gonna nominate Billy Herrera.
Hold on, wait a minute, we're going by item 3G. And as I said, what I will do is go down each council member to have an opportunity to make a nomination. So, Mrs. Cantu, I will start on your end. This is for the FEDC board.
May I have the floor?
Yes.
Yes, this count of, when it started way back when we were not on the council, and the mayors approved that, going with the full slate, appointed all nominees. So I don't see an issue. I myself see an issue with me appointing one. I highly recommend that our Mayor Pro Tem go ahead and do that as she did last year. So if it's going to be overturned by you, Madam Mayor, I would make an appeal and vote on that to override you. So.
Well, I would give each council member the opportunity
Yes, ma'am.
not to
I
make a
respect that.
nomination if they so choose.
I respect that, and I had said that right now, and with all that into consideration, I make a motion that our Mayor Pro Tem make those board members' selection.
Ms. Rodriguez, where do you stand on that?
It's up to the council, Mayor, but what I would say that it's probably better housekeeping if we go item by item. Ms. Feliz, will you be able to keep up with it if it's a slate, or is it easier for you to keep up with the minutes individually?
We will take our time,
Councilman-
with all due respect.
Councilman Ortiz, I had asked for a response, and then she was asking Mrs.
It is listed on the agenda as individual items. I prefer to do it that way, only so that the minutes are accurate.
But we can do it as a slate.
If you prefer to do it that way, we can do it that way.
Correct.
But if,
Take a vote on it?
okay, if it's gonna be a slate, you would want it to be indicated to which board?
To which board?
Exactly.
And it's just for minutes purposes, for maintaining order and being able to show in the future anybody that will question it, what it was done and how it was done.
Right. I believe that if there's someone that they didn't want or something, maybe they can say, well, I'll make a motion with a change of this person instead of that person. That's it. Just more.
Okay.
So do I do it?
Yes, ma'am. Just if you could, for minutes purposes and for Ms. Feliz, am I correct? Ms. Feliz, if they could indicate the name of the person and to what board? Or
Yes.
name of persons and to what
I'm
board?
gonna go by board.
Item 3G is what we're talking about, so it will be
Yes,
the
ma'am.
FEDC board to start off with.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
Madam Mayor, may I make a comment before we begin nominations? I know you had mentioned that we had, quite a few applications. I actually, don't really agree with that comment, and this is just myself saying, I was hoping we would have, a wide variety of applicants from the city, given that, this is an opportunity for our citizens to become involved with various organizations, and since we have several boards that we're going to be appointing members, I guess this is more of a comment to the city itself, and, looking at opportunities to become involved in the city, I do wish, our citizens would take advantage of those opportunities to be a voice for each other, so that was just my comment on that.
Thank you. Councilwoman, Mayor Pro Tem Cantu?
Yes. Okay, for the FEDC, I nominate Roy Hydrick, Billy Herrera Jr., Daniel Tejada, Ben Reed, Sherry Castillo, Alfred Gonzalez, and David Strozier.
Council, did y'all get all of those names? Okay, any citizens' comments pertaining to those, to that? Okay, is that your motion?